What is going
Howdy.
on? How you doing,
Good
buddy?
to see you, sir. I'm doing good. That's good. We just did a very good job of talking over each other this whole time.
We're like, hey, oh, cool, nice. Man, welcome to
Zoom
Comic
lag.
Live, everybody.
We got some books. We're going to talk about some comics live.
Hence the
In case you
name,
didn't know
Comic Live.
how this worked.
I love that Chaos is in the chat and he's like, I bought and read 0 of these books, which means he's not going to stick around, as I wouldn't either because I want to be spoiled.
I wouldn't stick around regardless.
Yeah, even if I read them, I'd probably be like, I got something better to do. So for all of you that hang out with us and watch, thank you. Scott Hazelwood, what is going on, my friend? Welcome.
Hello, Paul. Lots of people I recognize here, so that's fun.
Yeah,
we're waiting on our lovely co-host Jennifer.
She'll
on
be
the way
coming
home from work.
So Ryan and I are going to hold
the very last minute. Yes, we're going to start with a book that she didn't read anyway, so yeah. We don't even need her.
Right,
we can do it all by ourselves.
So let's just hop right in, dude. Let's talk King of Spies.
I'm going to take mine out of the bag, but I promise I have it. It's right here.
So this is from Image Comics. Mike Millar, Matteo Scalera is on art. Before we even hop into this, I got to ask you, what got you into the series? Because I know when issue 1 came out, I was the only one in our group that picked it up and read it. So why did you? Because
I must have been delayed or something. I've been on this book since the beginning, or
maybe you hadn't read it yet. That was, I guess, that was my question, because I made a comment where I was like, it had Kingsman vibes,
right?
And your face dropped as soon as I said that. You were like,
I never read Kingsman. I think I watched it once.
Okay.
This book has taught me that I don't think I like Mark Millar. Which isn't fair, because the man clearly has proven, he's done a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff, which he conveniently and not humble braggy at all lists out in the back of every issue of this run so far. Like, check out all the awesome books Mark Millar has written. And there are a lot of really cool things he's done, a lot of things that I really like, even things that I don't necessarily like, but I know that they're awesome, like Old Man Logan and his Wolverine run, Civil War, Superman Red Sun, which I do really like. But
I mean, Kick-Ass.
Never read it. I have no desire, but I know it's important.
I actually read it. I liked it. I watched them. The movies are fine, but I really did enjoy the comic. I haven't gone into any more of the world of that since then. I definitely also really dug Wanted.
Okay,
but I mean, that's
they all feel the same to me. Wanted, Kingsman, Kick-Ass, like it all feels like just gun stuff. A guy doing actually gun stuff.
I mean, you're not
always kind of bores me.
You're not completely wrong.
And I'm getting some of that vibe from here too. Like, we should get into this book.
We should probably talk about this book. So,
for those who don't know, this is a spoiler show, as you can see by the very, very, very swanky spoiler warning scrolling text down there. But this book, the general premise is there is a spy, a secret agent type guy who gets diagnosed with, I don't remember what disease, some disease that gives him like 6 months to live. Right. So he decides to spend his last remaining months going around and kind of undoing a lot of the bad things he had done inadvertently in his job. So, cool premise. I think I would enjoy this more as a movie. It's really the feeling I get reading this book.
I can see that. I feel like a lot of Mark's books could be written for a movie. I mean, that's why you had the whole Netflix deal with him. I think was with Jupiter's Legacy and all of those. I will say this though, I've really enjoyed this book. This is probably the first book of his that I've read coming out as they come out in single issues. I think is the Magic Order, is that one that is coming out right now as well. It's people are saying is like Harry Potter, like a grown-up Harry Potter.
Never read it, but I know that's coming out right now.
Okay, so I think that's what I don't know. That's what the premise is. Yeah, I love the idea of you have a spy here who's going back and is trying to right the wrongs, right? Like in this issue, he, you know, again, spoiler, he's taken out popes, he's taken out you know, Hollywood executives. He's going down the list of people that have gotten off because of people are in the higher ups that are watching over and kind of saying like, it's all good, we'll let you slide. And he's being hunted down by his spy son who hates him, which is a really cool. I've really enjoyed this comic. I've enjoyed what it is. I will tell you what I think my biggest hang up with Millar. I think that is it Millar? Is that how you say it?
That's how I say it. I don't know if that's
How I
real
say
or
it. So
accurate or
that's
not.
how we're gonna say it on Comic Talk Live. So if
There we
that's
go.
not
We
the
do
right
what
way
we
to
want.
say it, guess what? He's not watching it anyway, so we're all good.
He might be. He could be one of the 7 folks here.
I think my biggest catch and hang up is when he introduces characters that seem a little too over the top for me. And what I'm talking about is they introduced it right at the end of issue 2, and this character was in issue 3. It's the couple. So
The guy's on my variant cover.
yeah, it's this a female who has no arms, and I believe her lover
She's
who
got
has
no arms. He's got no legs.
has no
She wears
legs,
him like a
and she
backpack. That's the moment this book really lost me. Like,
and that's
it's a
I
little...
think those are the moments where his stories lose me a little bit as well, because I can go with the over the top action of like literally in issue 2 he's falling down an airplane, beating up someone like for 4
Right.
panels, and you're like, okay, that's absurd, that's insane. But it's for me, I think the hang up I have with Millar is it's the over the top characters. You're like, okay, now I'm just taking it out of suspense a little bit. Like I'm like, so this lady is wearing a guy who doesn't have legs, and they're super like BA spies as well. And that's what they did it with Kingsman with the girl with the like swords for feet. It loses it. And I feel like it would be a little bit better if we just have it as a couple. I don't even care. Like they don't have to have like this unique disfigurement so that they're like catchy. I don't know.
I think, yeah, even just a completely non-gimmicky, disfigured, conjoined assassin couple. I think, just the fact that they are a romantically involved couple would be different enough. But even that, like, I don't know. I want to see this as a movie. I would rather see it as a movie. I think Pierce Brosnan would absolutely like kill this role.
Ooh, I like
King
that.
of Spies. That's all I could see when I was reading this. Like the ex spy, like somebody who was James Bond in his youth, but is now going back, and like I think this would be perfect for somebody like Pierce Brosnan. And my variant cover for issue 2 has the sun on the front, in front of like the British flag, and he looks a lot like Tom Hiddleston. Who both of them
there's
are...
him on the front of
issue
3,
okay,
the regular cover. So yeah,
let me blow you up, because I think that's a good
I love this
example
cover
of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so
Pierce Brosnan versus Tom Hiddleston,
and Tom Hiddleston.
That's what I want. That's all.
Right?
I'm gonna throw John up here because that's funny. We're talking about King of Spies, or we could also be talking about Amazing Spider-Man. That happens too.
And I see my friend Cole is in the chat trying to get Taylor Lautner thrown in because he loves to talk about Taylor Lautner, but that's not happening, Cole.
Is that the werewolf kid from Twilight?
Yeah. I did an episode on my show where it's like recast stuff, and Cole came in with like, oh, cast Taylor Lautner as Hush for a Batman villain. I hated him, and then everyone else was like, yes, let's do it. So it's Cole does it now all the time.
It's a good joke.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, King of Spies. I'm glad this is only 4 issues too. I'm glad this is not going to be an ongoing or like a 12-issue thing. It's short and sweet.
I am too, because I feel like tell the story you wanted. How long are we going to, because it's someone being hunting, he's hunting down people that have wronged the world, that now he's trying to make amends, and his son's trying to hunt him. It would feel very dragged out if they kept going for more than 4 or 5 issues. So when I ended this issue where it said like, oh, to be concluded, I was like, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Like AWA style.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
It tells a tighter story, and I appreciate that. Like tell what you want to tell, and then if you want to tell more, and
Volume
people
2.
buy it, cool, awesome. So,
that's interesting. I do appreciate the fact that he is going after his targets in this book are very, very thinly veiled real world figures. Like I think it was in issue 3 where he takes down an ex-president who was responsible for getting us into a war in the Middle East for oil, and he calls him the dumb president, and like it's pretty clearly George W. Bush, but like not directly, obviously. And there was someone, and I don't remember which issue it was, but like Princess Diana vibes. He's talking about taking out somebody who was responsible for the death of the princess of the country in a traffic accident in a tunnel. Like, if you know who he's talking about, it's pretty clear. But I do like that real world kind of twist to it. But I'm trying to think of good things to say.
Yeah, I like it. You're either going to fall into the camp of you like, I think now, like you said, you either like Mike Millar's style of writing or you don't. I think you're going to know if you're a fan or not.
Yeah, this one kind of has me in the middle.
Yeah. Welcome, Gore. Good to see Gore Vidal in the chat.
As always.
He mentioned the Batman Catwoman special that he read. It was excellent. We talked about that, I believe, 2 weeks ago on the show with Brandon. It was really, DC really just mislabeled that. It should not have been called Batman Catwoman special. It should have been just a love letter to John Paul Leon. Like,
it was both. I like that it was able to do both.
But I feel like there's a lot of people that missed out on it that didn't know that it was, that probably turned it down because it was Batman Catwoman special and they're not reading it. So why would you?
Counterpoint. I unfortunately am not very familiar with John Paul Leon, so I would probably have not gotten that if it was John Paul Leon Memorial, tribute #1 or whatever.
Yeah,
the fact that they packaged it together.
I feel like they could have packaged it a little better. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, if you're not reading Batman Catwoman special, you're like, why do I pick
Spoiler alert, it did end up making my top 5 comics of January, which I'm currently editing right now, that video. Hey, Jennifer.
Hello.
We stalled. We did a really good job of stalling.
I know, we were just about to go into another book, and we didn't have to.
Oh, dang. That was perfect timing.
We had a backup book prepared just in case you were extra late.
What was the backup book? Talk about it.
Batman.
I am Batman #6.
I was on issue 1 of that, and then I kind of dropped it, even though I was interested in it. Was that a good choice?
I think this issue is the best one yet. But
since you asked, let's just talk about it real quick then.
Okay.
Batman. I am Batman issue #6. I was kind of like, I'm digging it. I think Ryan and I were both talking. We really dug I Am Batman. Issue 6, hands down, my favorite issue of the series.
Easily, yes.
I love where they're taking it.
I also really liked the other stuff. I think the art was hit or miss. I think the plot was a little bit all over the place because I had that Fear State kind of, it fell victim to the tie-in thing, especially within the first 5 issues of its run. So it was like a little unfortunate timing there, but I did enjoy the character and the world and all the stuff they were setting up. But this might as well be a new #1.
Yeah. Oh, they're giving you backstory about Batman, and now they've taken the Batman they've created and placed it in another world, and I'm there for it 100%. And Cole, well, people say silly things all the time, so.
Right. Monkey Meat came out this week. Yeah, that's another comic. I would rank that below for sure.
Okay.
Even though I do kind of want to talk about that with Jennifer a little bit.
Okay. Monkey Meat. I swore I wasn't going to pick up issue #2.
You both hated on issue 1. You both railed on it on this show.
It was weird.
Finish reading issue 1, did you?
Nope. I hated it so much. I'm like, I can't really finish this.
I thought this #2 was a slight improvement. However,
I thought it was a complete improvement. I'm actually really, really glad I picked up issue #2.
Okay, we're on the same page.
It was coherent, where the first one, like, seriously, the first one didn't feel coherent. I couldn't follow a storyline. And then issue 2 could have been it's an anthology, so it's not necessarily like it's linked, but it's not the same thing. seriously could have been a completely different series, and I really liked issue 2.
And I even went back, as I do, and I went and reread number 1 before this, and it made like 3% more sense after the second time through. But I don't want to read it again because it was just all over the place. But yeah, I did really like this one. It had a lot of like manga energy to it, and obviously that was intentional. But
yeah, like Naruto references, whatever a Naruto. I'm just kidding. Definitely manga, anime vibes.
My only real complaint is like this is some of the worst paper quality I've noticed in an Image title. It felt like one of those really crinkly, crappy, thin Marvel comic paper. And Image normally doesn't do that. So this maybe I got a crappy issue or something, but mine was, I don't want to take it out of the bag again. So that's fine. That's a fair complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get on to a real book.
I'm also just laughing at the chat because John's like telling Scott that he put him in timeout. I'm like, you can't do that. Ryan doesn't have moderators on this show.
I think John isn't he?
You gave him a wrench. I just looked. You gave him a wrench.
Okay. John deserves one.
There was a Sunday morning where Scott was in the chat, and I don't know who did it, but someone put Scott in timeout on the Sunday show and couldn't say anything. So sorry if you're in timeout.
Yeah, I gotta find a second one, but no one has proven themselves worthy enough. I would make one if you guys a wrench, but you're always here. So like,
we're here.
I guess you can still be here and block spammers. I had to do that on the Comic Tom live show on Tuesday because somebody was in like school with their students and couldn't, be the wrench in our live chat and kick out all the OnlyFans spammers that we had on Tuesday. John. Yeah, it was a weird day. We went live on a Tuesday morning. It was a weird time slot. Anyway, I already forgot the list that Greg and I had created before.
It is
Superman.
Superman.
Son of Kal-El, issue number 8.
I still really like this book. Is that a spoiler?
No. I mean, my spoiler is this is my least favorite issue of the series so far.
Oh, why?
Oh, yeah, let me know. Let me know why.
Defend that opinion.
I just it felt like nothing happened more from issue 7 with the storyline. Issue 7 was very much investing in Superman trying to save the monster while still saving Metropolis at the same time. And I was like, it just felt drawn out to me.
Okay.
So I appreciated it a lot more when we wrapped that story up and they were kind of dealing with, what happened at the end and then taking some time with conversations with setting up with whatever the character's name is. Not Lex Luthor, but the other guy who's kind of controlling
something X. Bendix.
It's Bendix, which throws me off every time. Like, how is that not a dig directly at Brian Michael Bendix?
Thank you. Okay.
So, like, as soon as that part picked up where it was setting up for where the story is going, I'm like, yes, I'm there for it. And, and then Superman getting to spend, a couple moments with his boo. Like, I dug everything at the end of this story. The first 3/4 of it felt very much the same stuff that happened in issue 7, that it didn't move the story along fast enough for me, where I was like, eh. So again, I don't hate it. I was just saying it's my least favorite of this series so far because it felt stretched out.
It's funny because last week the Tom Taylor Dark Knights of Steel was, I think everyone kind of said that it was their least favorite, or that it maybe moved the story along the least. It's funny that kind of 2 weeks in a row, but I still have so much faith in Tom Taylor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll take a bad Tom Taylor book over a and that's not even to say this is a bad Tom Taylor book in any capacity. No. But it just felt like it would it was stretched out. And so I feel like this issue would have been a different issue if it was a miniseries, because I feel like there was more stuff told in the story that didn't need to be told, and it wouldn't have been told if it was a 6-issue series or a 10-issue series getting there. But I'm assuming this is ongoing.
Yeah, and you're right. It kind of was like issue 7.5.
Right.
I can vouch that reading them both back to back is a nice experience. But other than that, yeah, this is feeling like this is just a tie-in, not tie-in, like a fill-in kind of in-between story arc issue or pair of issues. And I'm excited for the Nightwing team up that's coming next month. Like stupid excited.
Yeah.
Maybe more excited than I should be, but I know it's going to be good. So
I just imagine the way that Tom Taylor would write it, because he's writing both books. And so I just kind of imagine the way that because you have to use completely different voices for those characters, but they're both obviously heroes. I don't know. I just imagine Tom Taylor writing the script with like sock puppets on his hand and like, I'm Nightwing, I'm Superman, like I'm John Kent, like da, 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 da. And that's how
isn't
he
that
like
how that's how all writers do it, right? Like that's just part of that's how I write.
That's the process
100%.
that Tom Taylor does. Is just put some socks on his hand and hey guys.
I'm Superman.
Yeah, and that's where like this issue was a lot of setup for me. Like what they're doing with the league that Bendix is trying to create, and then teasing the Superman and Nightwing story. Because both of those characters are being written by Tom Taylor, and both of them are trying to make changes in society for a positive, and it's social justice, whatever you want to say. As Nightwing's trying to deal with poverty in the city, and Superman's trying to deal with every other social economical issue that there is in the world. Like, so it'll be interesting because it also isn't like it's Nightwing, it's not Robin, it's not Jonathan Kent's buddy, it's Dick Grayson. So I'm really interested to see what that dialogue is going to be like, because I think Tom Taylor is a great craft of dialogue, which is what attracted me so much to this story. So I'm really interested to see Tom Taylor's writing with Jonathan and Dick Grayson.
I am. I don't know if anybody else can see this or if this is just my view here, but I'm seeing the StreamYard logo is like perched right on top of Greg's microphone.
It is.
Okay, it's like a little.
And it just looks like there's a head coming out.
That's his little duck body. Yeah.
You haven't even been listening to anything that Greg just said. You just
literally had it.
It's been
just like
for the last 5 minutes. He's been looking at
like. Now thinking about this duck puppet over here on the microphone. It's like you need to put arms on it and make a little duck man.
Oh goodness!
I would approve.
Well, if only there was a book that we're going to talk about that I'm not on, I could take some time to make some duck hands on my microphone.
Is that your transition?
Let's talk Daisy issue number 3.
That was really well done.
That was excellent. Thank you. Okay.
Boom.
So Daisy number 3. I didn't even have a chance to put it in a bag and board because I just bought it on Thursday, and I bought issues 1 and 2 and 3, and I hate myself for not reading this series earlier because I fucking love this. Like,
okay, good.
This is wild. It's wild. It's weird. It is not what I thought it was going to be at all. And it's that strange, delightfully strange. And I'm so invested, and I'm so glad that I got to binge the first 3 issues. I can't wait to read issues 4 and 5 to see the conclusion. And I was even thinking about this again this morning. I'm like, I can't wait to buy the trade and just read it all again because it's so weird and it's so good.
I got the book, what was it, last year that I was disappointed. Luna? Is that the name of it? The one that was about the cults?
Yeah.
This is what I wanted that book to be. I think for some reason, like cult stories that I have tried to read in comics have never really landed with me. But this is like a creepy religious horror cult story, and it's pushing all the buttons. It's pushing all the good buttons. I was a little confused after issue 1. I will throw that out there. Like the first issue kind of lost me, and I forgot that I even read it once issue 2 came out.
Yeah.
But going back and reading them as two at a time, especially in number 2, there was a horrifying sequence where a man gets murdered by like every bird in the world. Like, I don't know if you remember that part specifically, but that's the only thing that sticks out to me when I think about this series. There's like a very haunting 2-page spread zoomed out of his house, and there's just a stream of like birds flying into this window and just like disemboweling this man, basically. I don't know the right word for it, but they pick all the flesh off his bones, and it's horrifying.
And so really quick, I kind of want to give like a recap, because this is issue 3 that just came out this week of a 5-issue miniseries published by Dark Horse. So this is Daisy, Colin Lorimer and Joanna LaFuente and Jim Campbell on artwork and colors. And it's really hard to like describe this book and like pinpoint it, but basically a mother goes to investigate her son's disappearance, and he disappeared like a decade ago, and so she's trying to just kind of like cold case it and like go back and try to figure stuff out, when she stumbles upon this cult, this religious cult. But it's not like, if you saw the movie Red State, like it's not like religious cult that way. It's like they take the stuff from the Bible, but they take it like very seriously. So like the shit in the Bible that talks about like giants and shit, like there's a giant child, and they're like, oh, like she is blessed because she's this like giant child or whatever. And they take the prophecies in the Bible like very literally, or like the passages in the Bible like extremely literally, but in very weird metaphysical ways, I guess. And there's like weird types of, I don't know if I want to call it magic.
There's something like literal happening, like actually supernatural, like resurrected animals from the dead, and they are clearly, like I was saying, that scene with the birds, they are clearly able to like direct a bird murder for lack of a better word. Yeah. It's very hard to accurately describe this book. It's a weird like soup. It's a weird gazpacho soup of different ingredients that it's weird, it's creepy, it's unique. There's not anything else I can think of that really hits all these buttons in this specific combination.
Thriller, horror, crime, and it's excellent. This is probably, I don't know if it's, the year is young, I don't know if it's going to end up being like one of my best of the year, but I think it's going to be 100% an underrated of the year.
I would agree with that second part. Yeah, I really like it, but I'm sure that some other stuff is going to come out too. It reminds me.
I've never heard anything about this book, and like when you guys put this on the list, I was like, okay, like I was like, you guys should talk about, because I don't know anything about it, and I'm really intrigued. And you have the religious element there, like you were talking about, where they're taking, and I know, like, besides that it was a bad movie, one of the issues people had with like the movie Noah, the Russell Crowe blockbuster movie that they made, it was the rock giants. People were like, what? And people like were Googling like rock giants in scripture and in the Bible because of that, because there's a passage in it which talks about like giant, kind of beasts. And it was just really funny that people are like, this seems absurd now, so we're taking it like everyone was offended by it because like rock giants seem absurd,
but it's 100% in the bio. Yeah, so
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it reminds me of Silence of the Lambs. There's a lot of that kind of like solo female investigating a cold case kind of. I got that vibe, like not just like from the plot element of like that, but there's something about the mood and the tone of just like this lady on like kind of like a doomed mission. Like you get this depressed kind of vibe from that movie and from this book. It's like Silence of the Lambs in that way, but also mixed with like a little bit of Children of the Corn in there too. Like there's a creepy group, like it's on the cover here. There's a bunch of creepy kids who are up to no good, if I could even catch it without the reflection. There you go. But it's great. It's a really unique book, and yeah, nobody else is talking about it.
If anyone watched Station 11, which is on HBO Max, I feel like it also had vibes from that. But I don't. That's kind of spoilery of the show. Anyways, Daisy is really good. It's really underrated. Please, if you get, this is issue 3 that came out of a 5-issue limited series. If you can pick up the first 3 issues and read it, like I seriously cannot wait for issue 4, and I cannot wait to just read it again and just binge read it. It's so damn good.
Dang, I'm intrigued now.
Yeah.
It's all right. Now Greg can see who if Greg reads this before Jennifer reads Stillwater. We'll see how that goes.
We'll see, because I have about 3 books that I've picked up because y'all have recommended it on the show, and they're in my to read pile.
Which
I think
book?
Echolands is on there, and I think Beta Ray Bill is in there still. I need to read. And
Same.
What was the other one? It was like a Nighthawk or Night something.
Darkhawk.
Darkhawk. That was another one you talked about, and I think maybe
some Will
had it.
holdovers. Yeah, because Will was
And
all
they're
about Beta
still
Ray
in my
Bill
short
too.
box of I need to read short box, and now it's been like 3 months. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Do I do it now or just wait till it?
Yeah, because the Beta Ray Bill trade already came out like 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I think the Darkhawk it just finished up. So then a trade should be coming out soon. Yeah. What's her name?
So I turned on my camera after I made the duck hands, and it was like you were like really in depth in your conversation, and I'm cracking up, and I was like,
Right.
so I had to like turn off my camera again.
I love it. The duck needs to be here every show now.
I love the fact that his arms are out too. He's like preaching, like he's giving a little duck sermon.
He's given a testament of the good word of comics.
I have a feeling that the duck arms are still going to be there, and you're going to go do like a video or something, and they're going to be there, and it won't make sense because the StreamYard logo won't be there.
Right, I'm going to be doing an interview with someone like really. I'm like, hey, so tell me. I'm like, and like halfway through the interview, I'm just going to be like, trying to be as subtle as I can.
Put googly eyes on it, for when the duck's not there. Just put googly eyes on everything, though. That's just a life hack.
Oh man! So we've talked a lot of books, 3 books already. Now we're talking Bylines in Blood, issue number 2. And I know John's here, and John read it because John only bought 3 books this week.
What?
Yeah. Let's jump it. Let's bring him on. John, come on down.
John, coming in. Ryan sent you a link in StreamYard so you can talk about this book.
Yeah.
He
didn't heard your perspective before.
He's not on any other shows.
I'm in chat, I'm sure.
I really like it. Kind of in spite of myself. I didn't think I would like it as much as I am.
I think especially because there's a lot of it that could seem tropey. Like if I described the plot of this book on every single point, you'll be like, I've heard that before. It's in a post-pandemic world where there was some type of illness. There is this investigative journalist who has to investigate the murder of her former boss. She's like a protege of him.
Right.
All of that just seems like so tropey, like it's not interesting. But like even the character, like she's a drunk, so she's basically like Jessica Jones, and like I still feel like this is such an original story, and I really, really love it.
For me, I was thinking like if you were to just like cut Jessica Jones and drop her into Blade Runner.
Yeah,
like, that's kind of the world of this book, but
that's perfect.
But it's not that lame, because that's a pretty lame description, like you're saying. There's like when you describe this book, it does sound like exactly what you just said. Like it's hard to convey exactly why it works, because it definitely shouldn't with the setting and the themes and just it somehow manages to not just reek of like been there, done that.
Yeah, like it's not tropey. It doesn't feel like it's unpredictable in moments, and I know we're like, I don't know. I feel like I'm using a lot of superlatives.
I don't know where it's going either, which is something else I really like. Yeah. Like I'm just on for the ride. But I'm wondering what Greg is thinking. Yeah.
No, I'm not. Let's keep talking about it and talking over him.
Oh, I haven't said it. I wasn't about to start to say anything until
Oh,
then.
good.
So
I'm just gonna poke him.
go for it.
Until he talks.
I want to know what the duck thinks.
That's true.
So that's what the duck had to say.
Thank you.
All right, my life is complete.
Thank you. Next book.
I think that's the end of the
What
show.
do you need to say? No. You picked up everything that he was feeling. What I was feeling.
Next time that happens, you got to make sure and cover just yourself and not the duck, or just somehow zoom in a little bit.
Sorry.
I'm just amused by the whole guy. Oh, they've made my day. The duck.
All right, so I dig it. I don't know if it's my favorite book. I'm enjoying the story so far. I think, like, for me, the less we get of this kind of whatever this world is that we're getting with this kind of character,
zooming in,
I'm not as invested in this part of the story.
Agreed.
This kind of like watching over. You can unzoom now.
No, don't. Look at the duck. Look at the duck. It fits
the duck looks weird. Fix the duck.
Does it? Does it look perfect? I don't think it does. Yeah, there we go.
I thought it did. I thought it looked like it had a long neck. Okay.
Nah.
So like, I feel like, and like it was only in there for 3 pages, and so really, I think if they kind of minimize that a little bit more, I'm there. I love the idea of, you know, right before that in that panel you had she's chasing the scarecrow, as she called it. There was someone who was in a mask that was starting the riot with the police force and then dipped out, and the police let him go. And she's like, wait a second. And oh, it's the police force that's doing this. And so like, I'm liking the story that's telling, and I'm liking that it's like a pandemic story, but like not full on, like
not COVID.
Yes, it's not COVID, but it's also not even like dystopian world pandemic. Like, it's kind of like this, oh, I can kind of see this going there in some, you know, like we could be there now, like with our technology and stuff, like, but it's not like it's not like literally saying like, hey, this is COVID, like this is what you're all going through right now, and now we're going to talk about in a comic. Because let's be honest, it was probably already being written before that even hit.
Yeah.
But I'm really, I like the interaction. I like the main protagonist. I like who she is. I like her kind of best friend, the you know, the geeky kind of nerd who is hanging out there just like trying to be the, you know, oracle to her. And I dig it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with this. I'm gonna see, because I know it's an Aftershock. It's gonna be 4 or 5 issues, and see where it takes it, and see if I want to invest into another trade if it gets picked up.
It's been a while since I've enjoyed an Aftershock book to this extent. They've been kind of I've been kind of cool on Aftershock lately, but this is a better one.
Isn't one of your favorite books Aftershock? Is it Maniac of New York?
Maniac of New York is, like, for me, still the high bar with them, and I'm really
enjoying
the current Maniac.
Releasing it, like, that's
but other than that, like,
okay, well,
that's doing the heavy lifting. That one book is doing all the heavy lifting, whereas AWA is like, you know, which one of these awesome books do it? You know, they're all good. But
you're right.
Aftershock.
Speaking of Aftershock,
I had a couple stinkers.
I agree. And like, because for a while, I feel like Aftershock was doing a lot of really great books that were really high bar. And I don't know if it's just the format of them doing condensed stories that fit nicely into one arc, like Scout's Honor. And so like books like that are great, but maybe deserve a little bit more fleshed out for the world. But there's another book I know we're not really, like, you know, I just want to say I also picked up Land of the Living Gods, which was also Aftershock. This was another fantastic book this week. I don't think anyone else but me picked this one up. But it was really good. It's like set in a like South African like post-apocalyptic world, and it was really good. This was really good. So another Aftershock winner for me this week.
It was very popular at our shop. We had like 2 or 3 copies of that make its way to our shelf, and like people picked it up, which doesn't happen. And I was going to sit down and read it at some point throughout the day, but I never got the chance because it sold out too fast, which is a good sign, I guess.
I just like how you said you're like, we had 2 or 3 copies. Like you're like, it's a very popular book. We had 2 or 3 copies. I was just like,
well, normally we order however many people pre-order, and then maybe if it's a number 1, we'll order a couple extra for the wall. But you don't want to order 30 of them and then get stuck with a brick, as Reggie says. So usually that's what happens. We have very slim margins over there at Milk Geek Comics. You know, gotta keep it gotta keep everything on the up and up.
I'm just gonna say this. So like I see in the chat, Cole said that Chaos made him hate it Aftershock because of the price. I mean, is the price really any different than any other comic publisher that's doing it? They're just telling a 4 or 5 issue story. So like that's where like I get this says it's a $4.99. So it's the, I guess DC you might hit like a $3.99 if you're not doing the B cover cardstock and stuff like that.
Right.
But is it I think AWA is really the only publisher that's doing it where it's cheaper issue books and then the trade is only $10. I mean, Aftershock trades are still probably $20 trades, I think.
$17.99 in a lot of cases. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only, I mean, I feel like I picked up 2 Dark Horse trades this week, and one of them was I think a 4 issue and one of them was maybe a 5 or 6 issue, and both of them were $20, and that kind of hurt. So thinking about Aftershock being like $17.99, that's right there, but then AWA doing $10 Chuck, thank you.
Marvel does that too, though. That's not a DC only thing. Jay, right. They both be dropping $10 anniversary specials all the time. I do have to say this is a $5 book, but it does have a thicker cover, so that is, I think, the reason. It gives you the card stack, but it's not that glossy fingerprint cardstock that DC variants do.
Yeah. So and Scott just asked, do they have the cardstock covers? That's what this is. It's a cardstock, but it is different from like you said, the like DC Detective Comics that I got. It's
Those are glossy
cardstock, and it's very fingerprinty, and I'm sure. So I'd be curious. Like Chaos says, it's $4.99, which it is, but it's only 20 pages. So I guess I don't realize. I've never been a page counter when I read a comic, so it's never bothered me.
Same.
But then even DC and Marvel have a lot of ads. These don't have ads.
And
I think on the
they're doing backup stories now too.
That's true. I'd rather save the dollar and keep the backup. Like,
I don't know. It's just I brought that up not to call anyone out. I just thought it was an interesting conversation because like what does a dollar? I know we complain about comic prices, but does a dollar make or break when you're buying it as much? I don't know, and so it was curious. So
I will accept a price hike for certain reasons and not for others. I would rather pay an extra $1 for a thicker cover than I would for a lame backup story that I don't care about. Like Batman had all those like Ghostmaker and all those. It was Ghostmaker specifically that really bugged me. Like I didn't need that backup story running in the James Tynion stuff. The Punchline backup story in the back of Joker, I'm not really feeling. Sometimes they're just not worth it, and I'd rather save the $1.
You're still reading the Joker?
Mm-hmm. Are you not? Don't you have it? Oh,
nope. I dropped it about 3 issues ago.
Oh man, that's fine.
Deuces.
He's off in 2 more issues, so like I'll drop it after James Tynion's done. I don't know if someone else is picking up after he's leaving, but either way, I'm probably out. All right, we got 2 more. I don't remember which one we're doing first.
Suicide Squad.
That one. Okay, talking about expensive books. This one was $7.
Ooh, and I didn't pick it up. So tell me, I told Ryan I almost went back to my shop today to pick it up so I could talk about it because I do enjoy a good Suicide Squad. So let me know if I dropped the ball or if it was a good move to not get it.
I was surprised at this one. I don't like Suicide Squad as kind of a rule. I haven't tried many comics of theirs. I did enjoy the first movie. The second one was fun. but still wasn't exactly my thing. This is very much influenced by the new movie, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I think it works.
I agree. And I think that this feels like an extension of the movie in a way. Like it feels like this could have been like the first cut or deleted scenes or something from it. I really enjoyed it. And I think it's also because right now I'm obviously watching Peacemaker, which is just an absolutely fantastic show. I feel like I'm really enjoying because there was the Peacemaker story that Garth Ennis did a couple weeks ago that I
which is
fucking
not
hated.
anything like the movie or the
Which
show.
is not anything like it. Like it literally feels like this was like that story could have just been dumped in the 90s, early 2000s. That you know, like the early 2000s called. They wanted their Peacemaker story back, Garth Ennis. Or yeah. So, anyways, this cleansed that palette for me, even though it wasn't actually like a Peacemaker story. I felt like this had the weird, absurd fun that I needed in like a Suicide Squad.
It has the absurd fun vibe, but it also goes a lot darker and like grittier and grimmer than the movie did. The Suicide Squad movie was a little fluffy at times, in a way that I didn't want it to be. And this book doesn't quite go that far, but it does have that same really kind of crackly dialogue that I can't help but love.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm kind of sad that I missed out on it because I enjoyed the first Suicide Squad movie, but I enjoyed the second one a lot more.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, the second movie. Yeah.
And like the Peacemaker show, I didn't love the first couple episodes, but as it kind of went along and dropped the complete absurdity and just had a little bit of that in it, I was okay with it. And it had a lot of heart. So I think I stayed away from this because of the Garth Ennis one. Because it was another Suicide Squad story. I read that one on DC Infinite app. And
it's like chaos.
It was like, yeah, I read it on the app, and I'm glad I didn't buy it because I was like, it was fine, but I would have been mad if I paid for it.
Yeah.
So I think I strayed away from this one for that, just that aspect, because I was like, am I getting inundated to too much Suicide Squad overload? Because I feel like DC is like they found their horse right now, which is the Suicide Squad world, and they're riding it a little bit. Because I think they're trying to figure their niche in comics, because I don't think they've had Suicide Squad work in comics for them. I mean, we're talking about how much we love Tom Taylor. Well, Tom Taylor just did Suicide Squad, a 12-issue series that I think got cut short because people weren't digging it. And I liked it. I could be wrong.
I've heard nothing but good things about it, but I've purposely never tried it.
I felt like it stopped short because everything Tom Taylor was doing with Suicide Squad was what James Gunn said he was going to do with the movie of like, I'm just going to bring a whole bunch of people in. They're going to die. You're not going to know who's safe. It's going to feel like a really, a suicide. Like there's going to be some gravitas to it of like nobody's safe.
Yeah. This book works for me, I think, because I'm specifically I'm only reading this and the Suicide Squad Get Joker. I don't know if that ever finished or not, but I'm not reading the main Suicide Squad book, or I didn't read the Peacemaker one. I'm not reading Harley Quinn or any of that stuff, or Task Force Z. I think specifically, if you compare this is the closest I've seen something get to the Suicide Squad movie, and the fact that it's only 3 issues. I don't really mind jumping in for a shorter story like that.
Especially when, speaking of price, it's $6.99.
A very fair price, though. You get a big. These are chunky books. It takes a while to read, and I don't think there were ads in here. Am I wrong? I could be wrong because it's DC.
I mean, there's got to be an ad for the Batman movie in there somewhere. There's got to be.
I forgot.
Not in the middle of the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, John. What is this? What is this about, Jen?
My weekly Smash report. You don't know what my weekly Smash report is?
No, but I think we need to find out.
It's those. Does that monster fuck? Is basically like the weekly Smash report. Is does that monster smash? Does he get laid? I don't have anything to report on so far this week.
Well, that's sad, Jennifer, because we've already talked about a book, and I think the people want to know. Does that monster?
Does that monster? Okay, so that monster. I don't know if that monster got laid. I don't think he did.
I'm just trying to give the people what they want. That's what John said he's here for. So,
yeah. No, this one didn't smash.
I would watch that though.
That's what Mars and I do on Sundays. We basically try to figure out.
I don't watch that show.
Does that monster smash? Does that monster get laid? And do we want to get smashed by that monster? Sorry, y'all.
Well, what is your opinion on the Superman monster that we talked about earlier? He doesn't.
Not my type.
But would you? Not your type.
No, not my type.
Okay.
My heart belongs to specifically one monster.
Speaking of your type and your monster, did you get the McFarlane $40 Swamp Thing multiverse action figure that's out now?
Can you give me a second?
Technical difficulties. Yeah, she's gonna. My internet is gone.
Hold on. I need to do some research. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Frantic research.
Because I feel bad because I just saw it in the store the other day. I'm like, ooh, I should get this, but I bought 2 of the multiverse Batman and the Riddler from the new movie, and I was like, I can't justify then doubling that and adding Swamp Thing to it. But now I'm like, oh, does Jennifer not have it? Do I need to get it for her?
You're better than me. If I saw that, I wouldn't. My best case scenario, I would maybe send her a picture of it. Be like, look at this. Best case scenario.
Well, more likely
than not. I
don't want to like come off of like that I was going to buy it and send it to her. It would have been more
thanks
like,
for telling me about it.
Yeah. Oh,
I knew she did. There's no way she didn't have it. There was no way.
I love my big old monster boy.
Hold on. Can we blow her up? Because I want to see if it was just the one I saw in the store or if it's all. Blow it up, though. Okay. So, move. So, I kid you not. The one I saw in store had the piece that was right there. It had awkwardly then fallen out of where it was supposed to be. And it was literally at an angle from his bicep to his crotch. And I was like, that is the most awkwardly positioned thing. I'm like, that had to have fallen out. And now that I see that, it did. And now I feel really mad because I feel like I should have bought that one that I saw, so I could have given it to you.
I already bought it.
Yeah, but not in the way that it was awkwardly positioned.
You should have taken a picture of it.
See,
I'll probably go back to
the Ryan way
tomorrow.
Yeah, someone else will probably pick it up. You know, one man's trash and all.
You know what they say. So we
Smash
got
thing.
one more book left.
We do.
Speaking of trash, no, I'm just joking. We're talking Devil's Reign.
I'm getting the connecting covers again, and I think this one also does not connect well with the cover before it.
Then why are you still doing it?
Because I'm not gonna not get all of them now. There's only one left, right?
No, there's 2 more.
2 more. It would have been a great.
Who am I talking to? You still are buying Deep Beyond. So why am I?
It's almost over, so you won't even be able to use that excuse anymore.
Why do you do this?
Technical difficulties.
Why do you
technical difficulties? Screw you guys. I'll read it. I'm saving the last 4 issues. I'm going to read all at once.
I make fun of Jennifer for how many variants she buys, and then I'm realizing that you probably buy just as many comics that suck. Just because you can't say no.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of I buy a lot of
bad ones. Jen buys a lot of the same good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
that's better.
I buy a lot of comics and it's a numbers game, and a lot of them are going to suck sometimes. That's it.
I mean,
I like
you
that.
both
That gets-
you both are so bad at it because you both literally bashed Monkey Meat on this stream. Jennifer, you didn't even finish reading issue number 1, and you both then picked up issue 2.
Mm-hmm. And it was good. That was a good decision.
I
That was
subscribed to
quality
it.
decision making.
It paid off in this instance. I think number 2 was a fun treat.
Yeah.
Oh, it is what it is. So
It was
Devil's
my
Reign,
reward for issue 1.
episode 4, issue 4 of 6. What'd you guys think?
I like this. Am I wrong? I really like
No.
this book. Like, I'm surprised that I'm liking an event book like this, but I'm not reading any tie-ins, and I kind of want to, which I also am surprised by.
That tells you that it's actually a good event, that you actually care about the tie-ins a little bit, because I've read tie-ins and event books before where I'm like, dang it, why am I reading both of these? Where this one, I'm not either reading the tie-ins, and I'm like, I'd be interested to see. Oh, we'll talk about that, Paul. We're going to save that at the end, but we'll talk about it.
I'm sure there's a whole separate hour we're going to do about that.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
So stay tuned.
I'm enjoying this series for an event, and that's a surprise for me that A, I'm enjoying an event, and B, I'm enjoying an event that's a Marvel event. But it feels different enough than all the other events, which I'm okay with, because it doesn't feel like every other event that I've read, when it's at least in a Marvel setting, it's felt like, because it was I think one of the first ones when I got back into collecting comics, it was War of Realms, and then it was like Absolute Carnage, and then it was the King in Black. So all the events that I remember reading that I'm like, I was kind of like, they were fine. It's the world is ending, aliens or gods are coming to Earth, and the superheroes are fighting. This feels like a Civil War style event, but not the same story, if that makes sense.
That's the best compliment I could think. It has a lot of like same DNA with Civil War, but it's told from a much more Daredevil street level focus. It doesn't feel like the stakes are as high, but in a way they might be worse. Like I feel like Doc Ock is pulling in alternate versions of himself from other universes, and I feel like that's bad, right? That should be a big bad deal. But
right.
My favorite part of this issue in particular was watching Sue Storm pull off that jailbreak. It made me it was like a fist pump kind of moment. Just like the thought of her in prison and like being able to just sneak out. Like, I don't know, it got me. I liked that. I liked watching that.
It reminded me that section right there reminded me of The Rock, where Sean Connery like locks himself out of the prison and Nicolas Cage is like, about time, because that's like what Reed Richards was like, about time. Like, come on, what took you so long? But
yeah.
I also watch The Rock a lot, so that's why I can reference every comic book to The Rock. But
it's like me and Lost.
I'm also there with Lost, so best friends.
I didn't read this book.
What? You said you were going to.
Okay, so it made it to my list because I got a variant cover, and that's it.
It's a nice cover, though.
It is a very nice cover, but
it is nice.
Yeah.
Gwen as Psylocke?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's better. I saw a Moon Knight variant with her where she was Cyclops, and it was like,
oh, ew.
Gross.
Ew.
Yeah. I didn't care for it.
Like
the whole concept seems a little weird and forced to me, but I do like that cover.
She's getting like 1 million covers, and I think I pre-ordered half of them. So I actually forgot to I read issue 1 of Devil's Reign, and then I didn't read issues 2 and 3, and then I just clicked on this one for pre-order because I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cover. That's it.
See,
that's
I might be reading Deep Beyond, but I don't ever say that. I don't think I've ever been like, ooh, pretty cover, let me buy that for this book I'm not reading. Like I'm not that guy, which I'm proud of myself for that one. I think
I've only bought I think I've only bought one cover specifically because I was like, I like that cover, and of a book I'm not ever buying. Like I'm not reading the series, and it was the Die 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 cover. It was the Barack Obama variant with him with like the gloves on it.
Hope and change.
Hope and change, and I was like, that's sweet. I don't even care like where you. I was like, that's sweet. I haven't been reading the Die 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 series, but I was like, I'm buying that, and I did. So I cover bought. So besides that, I only typically cover buy like extra covers if I'm reading the series.
I have to show you another cover that I am not reading the series, and it's the issue Batman. Oh, I guess I will be picking it up and reading it, but it's Batman Superman World's Finest, the 1 in 25.
Oh, did you get it?
I pre-ordered it, yeah. So it's actually on final order cutoff right now. So
can you pre-order ratio variants at your shop?
This is through Comics Hub.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I bought it because I looked at it. I'm like, oh, that's the meme. Because I'm an old person.
I am, however, I'm going to be getting like I think almost all of the Batman variants that are coming out. I think next month from DC. Like they're doing a Batman movie cover for a lot of their books, and I am getting those. I'm not getting the whole set, but I want.
I'll
probably
get a lot of those. Dang it.
Yeah.
Dang it. But I'm also reading those series, so it's okay.
I'm reading so much DC stuff specifically, so I think I'm good.
Man, I need to check in with my shop about that because the World's Finest, that was a grail book for me for a while, like just because I love that meme so much. So I was always hunting for it, and because they have that one, and then they have the reverse where it's Superman slapping Batman. And I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a 1 in 25 or if it's a 1 in 50, like if one's one and one's the other, but they definitely have both of those covers and they're flip-flopped. I don't ever know.
Oh, yeah. They're both actually 1 in 25. Yep. So this is another one. Yep. And then the other one is Batman and Robin. Yep.
See, I mean, if I had to get one, obviously I'd get the Batman slapping Superman because he's had enough prep time. He could do that. And
is it the one where he's slapping Jerry Seinfeld?
That's like a 1 in 100. That's like a 1 in 100 or a 1 in.
It's like a Seinfeld variant for some reason.
Yes, there's a Seinfeld variant of that, and it's insane.
Okay.
Do you see it?
I'm not going crazy. Let me blow you up again. Oh, it's in the car.
That's right. Okay. It's in the car with coffee. Okay. I knew it was a Jerry Seinfeld variant, and it was a high number.
This one right here is a 1 in 100. Yep.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm gonna admit too, I also forgot about the duck and the arms, and I just saw it again, and I'm happy.
So Real Fake Comic says that Die 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 issue is the first appearance of Grogu. I don't know.
It's fact. It's right there. You heard it first.
Chaos also is mentioning who's pre-ordering the Rocketeer. Your boy is getting that. Are you kidding me? A new Rocketeer comic. Supposedly it's supposed to be taking place after the events of the movie from what I've read. I'm super excited. And come on. I mean, the biggest issue is it's not going to be Dave Stevens writing, working on the Rocketeer, but anything in the world of the Rocketeer, I love it.
I would only consider it if it's a writer that I love.
It is
Donny Cates.
No. It is the person who's doing the book is writing and drawing the book. And give me 2 seconds, I'll tell you exactly who it is. It is Stephen Mooney.
Don't know that name.
Artist on Black Widow and Grayson. But Stephen Mooney. So
well done. I do love the writer artist combo. That's always admirable when someone does that.
Yeah. So I'm there for it. So
okay, I gotta pick my favorite stuff.
John wants to know the Smash report. Well, it's the Rocketeer.
That's who we're smashing now.
You guys can both smash the Rocketeer. I will watch. Yeah. I will pay money to watch.
Only fans.
Exactly. Let's see. Favorite cover and interior art. Shoot.
I love like the joke is like we always make fun of you for doing it, but the joke is literally you're like, dang it, I'm not.
I always forget to do interior art because I look at the cover and I look at my favorite and like, oh yeah, there's artwork inside these that I have to consider.
Is anyone ready?
Not me.
All right.
I don't think I am either. This one is a tough one.
I'll jump off here then. So I'll say my favorite cover is I love this Detective Comics.
Let me blow you up. That's a good one.
That is obviously the one, the only Lee Bermejo. I just love it. I love how I look at the car, the subtle aspect of Batman's face in the shadows. It's dope. This is one of those where it's a $1 extra for the thicker cover, and I catch my shop, put me on big because of the duck. It bothers me.
Right, but it totally works that way.
His head's off the bar and it doesn't work.
It's important, only for the duck.
It looks like it has a lot.
And then, you know me, I am a sucker for Clayman. So to have Clayman back on Batman and Catwoman, which was a good read. It was a good story. I really dig Clayman. This has been a series where they've been fluctuating on the artists the past couple issues that really bothered me, that it kind of takes you out of it a little bit more. But John said Batman's got a little captain in him. I didn't even realize that he definitely has a little captain in him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I love Clayman's art, and so I was really excited to have Clayman back on it. So, all right, I stalled for you guys.
I guess I have a choice. I guess I have an option. I have an option for interior art, but I can't show it because it's Suicide Squad and it's square bound, and I don't want to open it that hard. But just trust me, it's really good. Jen can sacrifice one of her copies.
Let me find a page.
It just had really cool art, and I also can't think of anything else that I liked that much.
Yeah.
Let me blow you up.
I don't know if this is a spoilery page. But...
It's hard to even tell what's happening. It's a big fight in prison right now. I don't know. It's just cool. I liked it.
Yeah. I like the big format
also,
too.
The format certainly helps. I also didn't love the interior art of anything that I read this week. So that one kind of wins by default, I guess. Oh.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Let me show you my cover real quick before we go into go to Jen stuff. I guess that's fair. Just give her a chance. Yeah, see these glossy covers, man. I feel great shame.
Cover.
I'm trying to hold it without fingerprinting the cover, but this Alex Maleev variant for the Justice League Annual, I am very much in love with, and I hate the inside of this book so much that I would consider just ripping out all the inside pages and just keeping this cover. So it's a good one. Batman with the bat signal. Alex Maleev is my boy. That's all I got. Brian Michael Bendis
Jennifer
absolutely sucks on Justice League, by the way.
Tell us how you really feel.
No,
I've got a theme going on for my cover of the week, and it's mostly just because I spent dumb money on lots of dumb stuff. But anyways, so I've got the Devil's Reign Gwen Psylocke cover, and then I've also got this one. So anyways, that one, and then I've also got this one as well.
Okay.
Little Gwen and Lockheed action. And then, of course, I got a couple of the facsimile. I don't know if that counts as a cover, but, I'll take it. So,
is there a reason for all this Gwen Stacy stuff right now? Is there like a reason?
No.
Or are they just doing it?
She's getting a ton of variant covers. Like, there's probably at least 20 to 30 variant covers coming out for like every single Marvel book. So I don't know.
Yeah. Who did that Devil's Reign one? Is that Nakayama?
It looks like it. It says Betsy something.
Gotcha.
Betsy.
I'll take it.
Yeah. This is kind of tough because I think that there was not a book that I was like, I love the interior artwork with, but
I think
maybe
that's kind of how we all were this week.
Yeah.
one of the interior artworks that really just surprised me. My cat just woke up. One of the artwork that really surprised me was Bylines in Blood, because I think a lot of it too is the colors.
Thank you.
I'm
Okay,
really,
that's what I was gonna say. The colors in that book
the color, yeah,
are good.
are pretty good. And like, look at what is her name, Satya, in this power suit. You gotta love a good power suit. So
Always. Speaking of which, Minnie's gonna start wearing a power suit in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I know that because I have a 4-year-old. But yeah, now you know.
I was wondering what was going on in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, but now I know.
They're gonna give Minnie a power suit here, so now you know.
You gonna update Mickey's outfit at all, or just keep him with those suspenders?
I don't know. I'm trying to actually make a hat for the duck right now too, so
that's fine.
it's going to be difficult to make it work. So because it'll have to literally be like hanging.
I think he needs weird little stick legs to hang out underneath.
I think the like stick legs will be the next. That's the only thing that's possible.
I like how the buttons on the microphone are like buttons on a suit.
They're like little snowman.
A little tuxedo duck. That's the best part of this whole show.
Classy, okay. So, favorite book of the week. I will tell you this. This was probably one of my least favorite weeks of like I didn't have any books that like stuck out of like this blew me away. I loved it. I don't know if last week just spoiled me, but it felt a little bit like lackluster this week.
I've also been super pressed for time, so I haven't read everything.
I did read everything, but I also only bought 9 books this week. So I'll go ahead and go. I'll say my favorite book of the week was I Am Batman. I really like what John Ridley is doing with the story. And as you can tell, it's not a spoiler. Welcome to New York, Batman. I think this is a really smart move by them.
Yes.
The creative team to take Batman out of Gotham, and they're placing this new Batman that people, we don't want a new Batman. Give us our Bruce Wayne. Okay, well, it's telling a separate story. It's now in an even separate city. It's pulling some characters. They pulled some characters from Gotham to New York in this issue to kind of be on a task force. And I think what this is going to do, I think this is a really smart move because what it's going to allow us to see is they even make the note in New York, there aren't these fanatical villains, right? In this world, there's not your Scarecrows, your Jokers, your Two-Faces. He literally says, I'm going to be there to defend people who are using fear as a weapon, to like rob people and steal people. So he's like, I'm gonna be there to defend them from that. And we start this, what I think is smart now is it's allowing us to have 2 different Batmans in 2 different worlds. And we see a killer in this issue. We don't know who the killer is. It's a new person.
Yep.
But it comes off very much like a 7, from the movie 7, of like the gory kind of killer. I think you're going to be able to see the kind of more detective side of a serial killer. And if they, of hunting down the serial killer aspects, we don't need the Jokers. We don't need the Two-Faces. We don't need the Scarecrows. I think someone might look at this issue and say there's a lot of Victor Zsasz in this killer. And they're like, oh, but like no one's like going to be like, upset about a Victor Zsasz knockoff in a book, because that's what Victor Zsasz is. He's a serial killer. And I think it's really, they've taken off the goofy mask of Batman now, where it was like the solid shield, and so you get to see that Batman, is African American, and they kind of even make that kind of like awkward commentary on this of like where the mayor's like, "That's not Batman. He's not
Black.
black,"
Yeah.
and like they even say it like that, like. It just is fun. I think what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to have a Batman in a more real world setting and get to see some new characters that could potentially get pulled into the Gotham realm if they wanted to. You don't have to force it, but it could be if this Batman goes back into Gotham for whatever reason, because his time at New York's done, he could have some enemies that follow along, and you could start to see some new people. So I really dug it. I love that they're taking this Batman out of Gotham, and I know it sounds heresy to say, but I do.
It's my pick of the week too. I'm going to say that too. I also, my favorite element of this story that they are just starting to get into here is the political angle of the New York scene, like the mayor and the police commissioner. There's an interesting scene near the beginning of the issue where all the top dogs of the political, elite are in a conference room having a meeting about, all this Gotham City craziness is slowly infecting our city now. And now that this guy's here, it's only a matter of time before we get our own Jokers and our Banes, and, we see the ramifications of this. And I don't know. I just really like seeing the political ramifications of this storyline. And I brought this comic to talk about with Comic Tom on our live show this last weekend. And unfortunately, we were only able to talk about the first 5 issues. And I think if more people were aware of this issue in particular, I think this is a perfect jumping on point for this comic. And I really liked it. And that's all I got to say about that one too.
Well, because it feels like it's coming off of its own story now. In issue 6, it's setting it up to be. I feel like issues 1 through 5, which were very solid, people are always going to compare it to this is your classic DC trying to race swap Batman, and it's the same type of thing, and they're going to get hung up on that aspect. Where now we're taking this Batman out. We've identified that it's not Batman for everyone. It is someone who is dressing up as Batman, who's different and still has the ideals of Batman. And now we're taking it in another setting. So if Bruce Wayne's Batman wants to go back to Gotham, it allows that to happen. And I think issue 6, if you're not on it, I think issue 6 is a great jumping on point. And I recommend it because I'm excited to see what it does, because I think it can get to some of that Nightwing aspects of trying to do good in a city. And it takes out the the fantastical element of the villains of Gotham City. And
it's like year 1. It strips down a lot of the extra Batman stuff that has been added on, in the decades since he first came out. It's definitely just a guy who's still kind of learning how to do this, right, taking on like muggers and, street level crime. So it's a very more grounded intro to Batman that I think has been lacking for a while.
So what you got, Jennifer?
Sorry, I was just very intently listening, because like in my head, I'm like, okay, I feel stupid for not picking up issues 2 through 6, but then you say 6 is a good jumping on point. So
yep,
maybe I'll see if I can just pick up issue 6 and go from there. But I personally think that a lot of really good independent books came out this week. My favorite of which is probably going to be Daisy issue 3. Maybe it's just because okay, so issues, and I think that part of that was because I did get to read issues 1, 2, and 3 all together, and this just seriously, I can't get over how great of a series this is, and I'm sad that I didn't read it earlier, but anyways, fantastic issue, really great series. Cannot wait to see what else is going on. I do also really want to quickly say Cult of Icarus #1 was pretty good by Scout. I know that you normally you get them in a box, like a monthly box. So
I get them in a box, but get the review copies, so I
Oh.
haven't reviewed it yet. I feel like I need to.
Well, it was really good. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's kind of like a premise where it's like there is an orphaned young woman and like her parents died mysteriously or something like that, and she's picking up the pieces, and there's like vampires and stuff. It was still really excellent. I liked it. That can all once again sound tropey, but it works together, and it's probably one of my favorite Scout issues that have come out recently. So
nice.
Check it out.
That's good. Got to get the indie love.
Mm-hmm.
We did it.
We did it, you guys.
We got our 6 issues in. We talked about our favorite books, our favorite art.
We made a duck.
That's
all of us helped make it.
That's the crowning achievement of the show. Like, I think Will's going to be really proud of us.
Yes.
Like, guys, what happened? I'm just going to call the duck Will. So Will is a part of our show still.
Yes.
Good. It needs more muscles.
But
I'm sure we can make that happen.
We'll work on that for next episode.
A goose suit because he's a duck.
It's an old circus term.
John, don't make fun of the egg he's laying.
It does kind of look like he's sitting on an egg. Now that I see it.
He's keeping it warm.
But when I put a comment down,
now the duck is really messed up.
There we go.
It's amazing how
big old
it works. So, well, Ryan, I said I was going to bring it up in the chat. You've got an exclusive comic out now. What up?
Oh yeah, I do.
On a book that we really both dig.
That I'm hoping the spin-off series is equally good, but I'm excited, and I'm pretty sure it will be. I liked the one single issue that Radiant Red had in the run so far. But yeah, I'm getting an exclusive variant through Bird City Comics for Radiant Red #1. I'm excited. It's a Goosebumps homage, so I'm like double excited. Or maybe triple excited because it's Radiant Red. It's very much my speed. It's a joint exclusive with me and Comic Tom.
When and how can folks get this?
You can pre-order it right now through the Bird City website, but Tom and I are also going to have copies eventually to sell ourselves.
Bird City is the one that did that dope Goosebump variant for Stray Dogs that I bought. The trade.
I think they did the one with Bueller too.
I've got to ask though, Ryan, for your variant, how do we know that it is your variant? Is your name, is your logo on it? And your logo is a picture of your face with a microphone. So I'm curious.
My name is on it, but since it is a joint variant with Comic Tom, it's Tom's little face, but with a bunch of fire behind him.
Oh, so Fire Guy Tom.
Yeah,
Fire Guy Tom.
It's a mixture.
That's what
I appreciate the logo.
I want.
Yeah, no Ryan with the microphone looking sad, but that could be. Sure.
John's bringing up Animorphs. I love Animorphs. I literally just found my box of Animorphs. They're right behind me in this curtain. I can bring out a tub of Animorph books.
Send them to Kate and Charlie. I sent them a bunch of Animorphs a long time ago.
Oh well, then forget Ryan. I'm gonna read them with Kate and Charlie. Then.
There you go. That's fair. I would too.
Anything else you got coming up then, Ryan?
I am currently editing my top 5 comics of January video, which took forever for me to start because this has been a very busy month for me. But I'm hoping to have that finished, the edit finished this weekend. So it'll be up sometime in the next few days. I picked 5 comics from January. There's one honorable mention in there too.
Ooh.
Nice.
Only because I didn't want to put 2 Batman books in my top 5.
Natural. And what about you, Jennifer?
What do I have coming up?
Yeah, what do you got coming up?
Just Sunday shows right now. That's it. It's boring.
Those are fun.
Sorry.
I know how fun they are because I watch them all the time.
It's each Friday. Yeah, and you know about my Monster Smash segment.
I do. It's my favorite segment out of all the segments that you guys do. What about you, Greg? What do you got?
Yeah, what about you, Greg? Get on the spot.
Let's change subject.
Just dropped an episode with my wife. Name that character. As always, our Friday night show, our episode 73, which is insane that we've done that many. Wow. And then Monday, I've got an interview dropping with Bryce Ingram, who is the co-writer on My Bad from Ahoy Comics with Mark Russell.
I knew that name.
So basically, Mark wrote like a third of the book, and Bryce wrote everything else. So I talked with him a lot about My Bad and collaborating with Mark, and so it was a lot of fun. And then I've got some random stuff on Wednesday, name the character on Friday again, and then the following Monday I've got an episode with Fellhound, who is the writer and artist of Commander Real from Scout Comics, who has a Kickstarter coming up, which is super good. So yeah, so a lot of, I mean, Mondays interviews, Wednesdays I didn't do anything this week because I didn't have anything and I wasn't going to force it, so nothing. But there's going to be stuff randomly on Wednesday. I think Ryan and I are going to still have an episode someday that we're going to get together when we decide to find time. And then, yeah, Fridays are the show with my wife. So
The show with your wife.
Yeah. Name
Not
that
this
character.
show?
So, well, it's the show with my wife, and then that's the edited stuff, and I come on and hang out with y'all. I mean, I guess I didn't pump my live stuff on Tuesdays. I do name that character with, or name or frame with Rod, so on Just a Rican, and I hang out with you guys on Friday nights.
I will never ever do that show. as much as I like you to, I can't draw, and I'm terrified of the concept of drawing. I can't do it.
Yeah, but if you've seen people who are on that show,
also I don't watch it.
Yeah, they're bad drawing. You'd be fine. Some are good, but
you just have to make it funny enough with how bad you are. If you can make people laugh, then you win.
Yes.
So maybe I would be the best player ever because it's hilariously awful. But no,
See?
Still not gonna do it.
You have to sell it.
You gotta sell
I'm bad at that too. All right, I'm gonna call it. Let's go to bed.
Call it.
Let's go to bed.
Good night, everyone.
Night, guys.
It's bedtime.
Night, girls. Night, everyone.
Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Yes.